We are here and ready.
So I would like to start by asking, how do we approach the situation when we feel like we're doing all of the work, like we're doing the internal work, we're doing the energetic work, but yet things in the external world aren't changing, and there's this feeling of being stuck and wondering if it's really worth keeping going doing the work because it doesn't feel like anything's actually making a difference?
It is likely in those instances that there is an ingredient missing from your formula, and that ingredient is acceptance. It is very difficult, often impossible, to create things when you are trying to push against them. So if you are in a situation that you are wishing to improve, if your energetic stance in that instance is to fight against where you are in order to create something else, it is difficult to create something else because fighting where you are brings the energy of the thing that you are fighting more and more into your experience. So we would invite you in those moments where you are feeling like you are doing everything and there is no change happening in your external, to take your attention inward and inquire, where am I not accepting myself? Where am I fighting myself? Why am I feeling stuck? Because we remind you, you have the answers. You have the answers. You always have the answers. It is just that sometimes you are disconnected from the fact that you sometimes do not want to know what those answers are. So we would invite you to turn to all of the parts of you, the scared parts of you, the worried parts of you, the fearful parts of you, and soothe them first. Before you try and fix your stuckness, take acceptance, take love, take warmth, take nourishment, take the attitude that you would to a friend of yours who was upset and inquire as to what is really going on in that space. And is there any lack of acceptance in play? And if there is, what is it regarding? And if you do find lack of acceptance, do not reject your lack of acceptance. There is always a reason for everything that you think and everything that you feel. Often the reason is that it is time for you to address what is standing in the way of where you are and where you wish to go. So you are never, ever, 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 ever stuck. It can feel to you as though you are stuck, but you are creating yourself and your reality in every moment. It is when you are creating it in what looks like the same configuration as the moment before that you can start to feel stuck. But know this, you are energy. You are energy beings. You are always in motion. Energy is always in motion. You are not an exception to that. So understand that stuckness is an illusion and that acceptance is the way forward. That you get to the thing you want through the spaces that you are in presently, not by fighting them, not by resisting them, not by trying to climb the wall of them, but through. And acceptance opens the door so that the brick wall becomes a passageway rather than an actual block.
Okay. So one of the things that I struggle with is acceptance, because it sometimes feels like if you're accepting where you are, then you're not inviting more or better in. But is that not the case?
That is not the case, because you will always want more. Wanting more and acceptance are not opposites. When you accept something, think about a time where you were fighting and resisting something and then you moved into a place of acceptance. Actually have a memory, conceptualize, think about it, and remember what happens when you hit acceptance. Acceptance is an opening. When you are resisting something and then you accept it, your shoulders drop, your face relaxes. It has the energy of expansion to it. Acceptance isn't the same as saying, I give up. It is not the same as saying, this is all that's possible. It's not the same as saying, I accept that this is all that I can have. Acceptance is basically like a GPS setting of where your beginning place is. This is where I am. When you are not accepting, you are fighting reality. You are fighting what is. And you cannot fight what is, if it is, and win. You are setting yourself up for failure and you are setting yourself up for contraction. When you want expansion, the only reason you want to move to something else is because you want an expansive experience. And you will always want an expansive experience. You will always want more. So denying the fact that you would like to expand is denying yourself and blocking your own energy. Acceptance is a space. It's a space. It's an opening. Acceptance creates possibility. It is defeat that you are confusing with acceptance, and therefore creating confusion within yourself about how to move forward to what you want without fighting where you are.
Oh, yes. Yes, thank you. That word defeat, I can completely understand how I was confusing things there, and it does make total sense.
There is a static sound, we believe it is of the rubbing of the microphone against something that is making it difficult for Maida to concentrate.
Okay, I'll just hold my microphone out a bit further. I'm not sure what it was banging on, sorry.
Maida thanks you.
So, when we're working towards a goal and sometimes roadblocks or speed bumps come along, how do we know if these are messages or things that are telling us that we're going in the wrong direction and we should change course and should be heading towards something else, or whether it's something that we need to work through in order to grow to be able to take the next steps?
You develop the skill of self-inquiry. There is not a formula that we can give you other than learn the language of your inner world and your inner knowing. There is a difference in the experience, in the energy, and in the feeling of coming up against something that is redirecting you and coming up against something that you need to clean up in order to get to where you want to go. There is a difference in the experience of both of those things. And as you learn to bring the acceptance of which we spoke earlier into the space of honesty with yourself, of love of yourself, of encouraging yourself forward, it will become easier for you to realize that actually this is something that requires my attention. Often you come up against what you perceive to be a block, and it is coming up because it requires your attention. There is something that needs to change in your perspective, in your energy structure, in your paradigms in order to create the thing that you want. And if you are not quite ready to do that work, you may decide that it is a sign from the universe attempting to redirect you. But when you are honest with yourself and when you really look inwardly with that spaciousness and that knowing that things are possible for you, you are able to decipher the language of your inner world, and you are able to inquire into yourself, okay, do I really need to change this, or do I really need to work with this? And you will start to know, even if you don't like the answer, you will know. Maida has the experience regularly that her guidance takes her to something that her personality may not be quite ready for. And she does sometimes try to pretend to herself that the answer is something different than it is. But deep down she knows, and she may have a tantrum or she may choose not to take that option, and that's fine. But there will be energetic impact of the choices that she chooses to make. But the question is one of discernment. It is discernment within the self. And we remind you of this. You are not separate from the universe. Many people have a conceptualization of the universe as being something that is outside of them, that tells them what to do. You are not puppets to the universe. The universe is within you, and you are the universe. You are one. You are not separate. So there is never something outside of you saying, this is the right thing, do this, or this is the wrong thing, don't do that. There is never something outside of you deciding what you are allowed to have and what you are not allowed to have. But what does happen is that the energetics are aligned for something, or the energetics are not aligned for something. And that is something that it would behoove you to be able to decipher so that you can move forward to the things that you want with knowledge, with power, with acceptance, and with flow. That is what you are after.
Okay. So if we make a decision at a point in time to ignore the guidance that we are given to make a different choice, are those choices represented to us later and we're given another opportunity to face those at the end, or is that like the only opportunity we have to make that decision?
It is never the only opportunity. There are always more opportunities. It's just that we will say it this way. If you are presented with a choice and you make a choice, you choose option A over option B, it does not mean that option B in that exact form will be presented to you later if you do not choose it. But you could be presented with option D that has similar energetics to option B. You create yourself afresh in every moment. And as you make choices, you reconfigure the energy of the universe. So what you will be presented with won't be the exact thing, but do not feel that you miss your opportunity and you will forevermore be lacking that opportunity. You create yourself in every moment. The universe is recreated afresh in every moment, and the configuration might look different, and the face of the person who is going to help you to achieve it might look different. But the energetics of it will provide you with many opportunities, many opportunities. Know this, you are the universe and you want the best for yourself. The universe wants the best for you. It will not punish you for not following your intuition. There is no one who is sitting there tapping their foot on the floor with their arms crossed going, we told her, well, it's too late. She didn't take the option. That's too late. It's gone. Goodbye. It does not work like that. You are infinitely supported, so much more than you know. You are infinitely supported and you are infinitely being guided towards the biggest, best feeling version of yourself. If you do not make the choice to follow that, that is totally okay. You are still supported. The support given to you only increases because the universe only ever expands. It does not become less. And you do not lose your chance for happiness when you choose B instead of A.
Wonderful. Thank you. One of the things that I struggle with is, so we are about to have an election here in New Zealand this weekend. And one of the things that I really struggle with around this time is how people get very passionate about their ideas and their opinions and thinking that their particular way is right. And they become very forceful of trying to convince other people to come to their side. And you often see a lot of arguments and what I would call negative or almost childish behavior on social media, even having conversations with people in real life. My inclination is always to just pull away from those kind of conversations because I'm comfortable in myself and what I know and who I want to vote for and what I feel is right for me. But sometimes I still feel really hard to really pull myself away from that energy, that negative energy, that what's the word I'm looking for? The tension and the argumentative behavior that comes up around this time. Do you have any advice on how to handle those situations?
Yes, there is a lot of that happening in humanity and it will ultimately improve, but for a period it appears as though it will get slightly worse. We remind you of this. The universe is a mirror. So when you are seeing that negativity and that judgment and that pushing, it is actually triggering within you the desire to do the same. It is just that you are more conscious of yours, so you don't unconsciously go into forums or Facebook comments and try and force your opinion on them. But there is a subtle energetic way within which you don't want them to be negative and you don't want them to be argumentative. And within the bounds of your energy field, you are actually doing very similar to a very pronounced smaller degree, but the energetics of it are actually quite similar. And so if what you want is a peaceful, harmonious interaction and exchange with the world, there is a need to stop fighting against and pushing against, and that includes the negativity of others. You are wise to protect your environment. You are wise to support yourself with harmony in your environment and not dive into the fights and the arguments. That is a wise thing for you to do. But it is also wise for you to be aware of the fact that it is difficult for you to move away from that energy once it is activated within you. And that is happening for a reason. So as you do the inner work within yourself, to really genuinely allow them to be as they choose to be, even if it is a less conscious way of being than what you would choose either for yourself or for them. Remind yourself that your only choice is for yourself. They get to choose for themselves. And be curious about the act of resisting that negativity, because again, what you push against, you give more energy to. And if you allow them to be and allow humanity to be as it is, you create a space once more of making more conscious choices and using your energy to create the things of which you are excited, the things that allow your heart to expand. If you connect into those visions and interact with people from that place, you bring so much more lightness, particularly to the dark and heavy energy space that surrounds the conversations around politics. But do not demand more of yourself than you are ready to give. At present, this is still a trigger for you, and it is for 99% of the people on your planet. But as you each, as conscious individuals, do the work internally to become harmonious within yourself and with your world, with all of the aspects of your world. So again, accept where you are and want more. Want it to be better. Create a vision of how it could be better without fighting where you are, without fighting where politics is. You don't need to fight in order to create more. But the reality is what the reality is. The reality is that these people have got this negativity and you are aware of it and you can see it, and it is triggering something within you also. Do not fight them. Do not fight you. Do not fight the political system, but dream and envision what could be better. And then work towards that, because we remind you, you will always want more. You are geared for expansion. You desire expansion. You are wired for expansion. You will always want more. But accepting where you are, the reality of where you are, is like using the GPS system. If you do not put in your beginning location, you cannot get to your destination. Acceptance is where to live from. Expansion is where to live from also. And we remind you that they are not opposites. We love you. We love you. We love you. Go well.